Stanley Teger was born in Poland before the start of World War II. It was a very dangerous time. Stanley and his family were captured by the Nazis and were on their way to a concentration camp. But his mother, Irene Teger, was an extraordinary woman. Her courage and love saved her son and herself. This is their story. Stanley Teger and his wife Ruth live in Elwood, New Jersey. They have two grown children, Frank and Donna. Stanley lovingly describes his wife as his 100% all-American girl, but he admits that his favorite woman in the world is the Statue of Liberty. Ruth doesn't mind. She understands that Lady Liberty represents the freedom that Stanley has found in his adopted country.
In 1943, I was 4 years old. I walked with my mother and many other people toward the train to go to the concentration camp. At that time, I was very hungry and thin, starving. So the German soldiers were pushing people with their rifles. One of them hit me on my head. That's how I became deaf. The Germans threw me onto the train, headed for the death camp. When they weren't paying attention, my mother grabbed me and hid me until we finally escaped. We spent the war hiding, sometimes sleeping in haystacks. My mother told me, try not to scream because you can't hear. And try not to panic. Keep quiet. She told me she would squeeze my hand, and that's how I would know to keep quiet. If I spoke with my funny voice, people would look. They might be suspicious of a voice that sounded different. If they thought we were Jewish or some other religion, they might call the Germans to catch us again. My mother saved me by dressing me as a girl with bows and curly hair. She had heard about Germans stopping young boys on the street and making them line up. They had all the boys line up. The Germans forced them to take off their pants. If they found a boy that was circumcised, that means they were Jewish. If they were not circumcised, it meant they were Catholic, Protestant, or some other religion. The Germans would separate the Jewish boys from the group. The other boys could get dressed. Then the soldiers would shoot the Jewish boys.
The war finally ended. Like many Polish Jews, the Tegers went to a relocation camp in Austria. Soon, Stanley had a new stepfather and a sister. With most of their relatives victims of the Holocaust, Irene decided to bring her family to America.
It took us 12 days to cross the Atlantic Ocean. When we saw the Statue of Liberty, I didn't know what to say. I looked at her face. I thought she was smiling at me. That was her natural look, with the torch in her hand. I was crying and happy. I didn't want to have any more problems like in Poland and Europe. I said to myself, thank God we have arrived in America safely. I told my mother, you make me cry when you spank me. But the statue, she never hurt me, and still I'm crying. I'm crying because we are free. So I started buying small models of the Statue of Liberty. Later, I bought more and more. That's my favorite thing to collect. I'll continue to collect them until I die.
Stanley collects pins, buttons, bottles, pictures, coins, new and antique, anything with this symbol of welcome for immigrants from all over the world.
I feel more and more love for America. America has been really wonderful to me. I feel like a butterfly because I'm free to go anywhere I please. No one can stop me. I am always happy to see my beautiful country, America.
The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom. Many deaf people have shared Stanley's experience of arriving in America. They understand what freedom truly means. Deaf Mosaic producer